We're going to discuss the congruent triangles and also the triangle congruence postulates, the side, angle, side, angle, side, angle, and side, side, side. Now, let's go to the RTP or to remember the past. The past lesson is we're going to identify the terms and define terms in geometry. So, what do you see? So, what do you see in this picture? So, do you see the defined terms and undefined terms in geometry? Alright, so a line. You have a line here, and the plane, and then we have the intersecting lines here. And this one, this is intersecting at the points. Where else? Geometric figure, right? A triangle. You can say that it's intersecting planes. Okay, now let's go on to another one. Picture. This, the word says equals a pizza. Okay, now here this pizza. What do you think is geometry or the defined or undefined terms in geometry? We have line, a plane, collinear, coplanar, right? And what else? There's an intersection. There's an intersecting lines here. So adjacent, the angle, yes, the angle, right? This is the angle. Alright, so but the geometric figure, you can see this is a triangle. Now let's talk about the triangle. In pizza, do you see that it's the same size? And do you think that it's the same measure? Maybe yes, maybe no. And do you think that they're the same length? Maybe yes, yes, maybe no. But here in pizza, as you can see, this is same size. So I think that's congruent. And when I say congruent, they are same. And now let's talk about the triangle. Let's connect the congruence in the triangle. So what do you mean by congruent triangle? So this is our topic for today. Now let's go on. Now let's talk about the congruent triangles. Two or more triangles are said to be congruent if their corresponding sides or angles are the sides. In other words, congruent triangles have the same shape and dimensions. Congruency is a term used to describe two objects with the same shape and size. The symbol for congruency is this. In triangles, we use the abbreviation of the CPCT to show that the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are the same. So take note, when we say CPCT, there's corresponding parts of congruent triangles. Let's see the corresponding congruent sides and angles. This is the triangle ABC and triangle DEF. Now let's observe first the tick mark and the measures. The tick mark shows to indicate from the triangle ABC. We have the first tick mark and the second tick mark and the third tick mark. And for this one, it shows this one is congruent sides. So the three tick marks here is shows to these sides. And the first tick mark here is shows to the side. And the second tick mark is shows here in these sides. So as you can see, this tick mark shows the congruence of the two triangles. Then take a look for the measures or the angle. You have the one here and also here, so it means that is the congruent for this one, angle A and angle D. Then here for angle C and for angle F, and this for angle P and for angle E. So therefore, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle GF. Now let's write to clarify and to clear this. Let's write the naming incongruent sides. So this is the line segment. Line segment AB congruent to line segment DE. Line segment BC congruent to line segment EF. Line segment AC congruent to line segment TF. So that's all the congruent in sides in two triangles. Now let's go on to the congruent in angles. Angle. So this is a symbol of angle. Angle A congruent to angle D. So this is angle A and this is angle D. Okay, let's go on. Angle B congruent to angle E. And angle C congruent to angle F. So now this is clear that we have the congruent in sides and we have the congruent in angles. Let's go to the next slides. Do you know? Triangles can be similar or congruent. Similar triangles will have congruent angles, but sides of different lengths. Take note of that. Congruent triangles will have completely matching angles and sides. Interior angles and sides are congruent. Identifying congruent triangles involves three postulates, abbreviated SAS, ASA, and SSS. Or we can say this is SAS, the side angle side, the ASA, or ASA, the angle side angle, and the side or SSS. So they are the three postulates of the congruent triangles. Now let's go on what you mean by side angle side. Before we introduce the side angle side, the SSS, and angle side angle, so we need to do this one first. A postulate is a statement presented mathematically that is assumed to be true. All true triangle congruent statements are generally regarded in mathematics world as postulates, but some authorities identify them as theorems. So we know that theorems is we need to prove. We accept that this is true, but we need a proof or proven. But in postulate, it is accepted to be true without the proven. So this is some difference of the two, the postulate and theorems. Now let's go on for this one. In this case, a postulate and can be considered as a theorems. This is a triangle congruence theorems. This is called the triangle congruence theorems. They are the three. And the first one is side angle side, postulate. We can say that is a postulate. And angle side angle. And the side. Okay, take note. So do not be confused. The postulate is accepted to be true or assumed to be true without proven. But the theorems, if we're going to prove the side angle side, the ASA and SSS, that is called the theorems, because theorems is the meaning of the theorems is assumed to be true, but we need to prove it. We need to be proved. So now let's go on. Let's talk about the side angle side, or the postulate of this one. If we can show the two sides and included angle of one triangle are congruent to the two sides and included angle in a second triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So take note, two sides and included angle of one triangle are congruent. So therefore, that is side angle side. Or just look at this key note, the side, angle, and side. So two sides are congruent and one included angle. So, alright. So let's go to the example. So this is the example of side angle side. If AC congruent to EC, so this is the AC and congruent to EC. Therefore, angle C congruent to angle C. Why is the two congruent with the same angle? Because there's an intersection here, right? So this is the point, or the intersecting line, intersecting points. So therefore, there are two vertex, or there are two angle. So BC congruent to DC. So this is a BC and this is DC. And therefore, that is called side angle side postulate. So this one, the three does is called therefore. That is the symbol of therefore. Therefore, triangle ABC congruent to triangle EDC. Again, side angle side. Or side angle side. So that is a meaning of the side angle side. Now let's go on to another one. ASA or angle side angle. ASA. Again, so there are the two congruent angles and then one sides. So let's see the meaning. The angle side angle postulate states that if two angles and included side of one triangle are congruent to the two angles and the included side of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So, but the key note is there are two angles are congruent and one side. Okay, let's have the example. So that's the example of the angle side angle. Angle side angle. Angle side angle. So let's have this one. If angle A congruent to angle D, AB congruent to D, AB congruent to D, and angle B congruent to angle E. This is the angle B and this is the angle E. Therefore, triangle ABC congruent to triangle GEF by angle side angle postulate. Alright, so let's go to another one. Side. So this is very easy to identify. If you can determine that the three sides of one triangle are congruent to the three sides of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. Let's have the example. If AB congruent to CD, BC congruent to DA, and AC congruent to CA. Therefore, triangle ABC congruent to triangle CDA by SSS postulate. So that's very easy to identify the side. Now let's have the practice one. Let's try this. Identify the postulate that proves that the two triangles are congruent. Let's have the first one. Okay, what do you think is the answer? What kind of postulates? That is angle side angle postulate. Why is it angle side angle postulate? Because as you can see the tick mark here, the angle first the side and angle. So that's very easy to identify what kind of postulate is this. Now let's go on for the number 2. What kind of postulate is this? Alright, that is side angle side postulate. Okay, now let's go to the number 3. Number 3, what kind of postulate is this? Alright, that's side postulate. Number 4. Alright, that is angle side angle postulate. Now let's another one. Complete the given information to prove that the two triangles are congruent. Number 5. If A be congruent to GM, angle B congruent to angle M, and blank congruent to MA, then triangle ABS congruent to triangle GMA. So the answer is BS, congruent to MA. Alright, so let's have the number 6. If DF congruent to XE, FA congruent to blank, and VA congruent to ER, then triangle DFA congruent to triangle XER. FA, this is FA, that is congruent to ER. So therefore the answer is ER. Number 7, the last one. If blank congruent to angle Y, SA congruent to YU, and angle A congruent to angle U, then triangle CEA congruent to triangle YOU. Alright, so the angle Y is this one. So therefore, that is congruent to angle S. Okay, so that's the example of the postulate and the given information that we're going to complete. Okay, let's go on to another one. Give some examples of triangle congruence theorems in real-world applications or in the real-life applications. What do you think is the applications of the triangle congruence theorem? That is a bridge. Alright, so as you can see, we have the angle side angle postulates here. Okay, what else? A kite. Okay, we need the triangle congruence theorem for kite. And alright, for the, in Enchanted Kingdom, we see that wheels, it's like a wheels. It is a fun time, right? Okay, so there is the application of triangle congruence theorems. What else? Umbrella, right? So we need the application of the triangle congruence theorems in umbrella. And the buildings, right? Okay, so of course the house, the buildings, there are many lots of real world application of triangle congruence theorems. Those are some examples only. Alright, so let's go on. Before we're going to end this topic, this is the first one that I like to emphasize and to touch your hearts. So act in a way that is congruent. So we talk about the congruence. So therefore, that is the inspirational message. Again, act in a way that is congruent with your true character. This according to Robin S. Sharma. Okay,